Okay, so let's see, what would be my low, my high, my act of kindness? I guess first of all, my low is the fact that my mom was working, so couldn't really see her yesterday. But maybe seeing her today anyway. I'm gonna be spending the afternoon with, my nephews, as well as the fact that, we're having leftover turkey for dinner. It's gonna be sweet, right? Visiting my folks and whatever. But I guess my low is the fact that I missed her last night. I mean, again, she was working. There really wasn't any point in going to see her. But, I still wish, that I did, I guess. Well, actually, we did talk last night on the phone, so that was good. My high is the fact that, my high is the fact that I did wind up talking to my mom anyway. I mean, she technically called out of the blue, but it was great. I mean, it was, because again, she was working, and she's supposed to work from like 7 to 7, but it's at a hospital. And if any of you work at a hospital, you know that just because you have like a set time you're supposed to work doesn't mean that's actually what it's going to be. I can't tell you how many times my mom got home later than she was supposed to because like at the last minute there was like some sort of huge medical emergency, like a car accident or something like that. Trust me, sometimes that got like really annoying. But I understand. When I was a kid, it was annoying. As an adult, I get why. Like she had to do it. But it's less time I got to see her then, And then my act of kindness was. What was my act of kindness? Did I even have an act of kindness? I mean, I know I held the door for a few people yesterday. Yeah, I'll do that. I held the door for some people. That was really cool. It's an act of kindness, so I'm supposed to do. So, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. And, well, I guess I can say this is the first time in a good while where I have no idea who this week's Hot Ones guest is. Because Hot Ones is over. Okay, I thought I better get that joke out of the way. Honestly, I meant to talk about this a little bit earlier, but, with events like, this week's One Piece manga chapter coming out, and, the newest episode of Amphibia, I kind of wanted to have me talking about more of Naruto after Totally Not Mark just did, essentially the climax of the war. Well, not the climax of the war. I'd say like the 3 best fights in the war, like right then and there, like in his video. So I thought I should leave that as my own thing. And luckily I know for a fact nothing's going on today, so figure I would do that here. So when Totally Not Mark left off, he finished the last part with Naruto and Toby, clashing. And that was, pretty much it. And throughout this particular video that he made, he talked about what are essentially like the 3 really big fights in the war. That is the 5 Kage versus the reincarnated the resurrected Madara Uchiha. Yeah, 5 versus 1. There's Sasuke and his resurrected brother Itachi against Kabuto. And obviously Naruto, Killer Bee, Kakashi, and Guy versus Toby. And the rest of the resurrected Jinchuriki. So there you go. I guess the only thing I can really say is how every one of those fights, because by all accounts, every single one of these 3 fights are great, and I've seen them multiple times over and over. In fact, I really couldn't tell you the favorite that I had, because even when I was reading, I'm like, even if best case scenario and all the good guys win their fights, the story isn't going to be over yet. And so, with that said, I think I can start with the one I kind of knew was going to end poorly, and that was the 5 Kage versus, the resurrected Madara Uchiha. Now, first of all, the image of the 5 Kage standing united against Madara before Naruto left, that was really cool. But in the end, it's Madara Uchiha. Only one Shinobi in all of history had ever been able to fight him head on, and that was, Tsunade, the 5th Hokage's grandfather, the 1st Hokage. Hashirama Senju was his name. And there's a time when Madara, mocks her, like, "You're not your grandfather." And she's like, "No, I have my own will of fire." And so, for a little bit, she actually kind of turns the tides, but then again, Madara is just too powerful. After he somehow got the Rinnegan, as well as the fact that, he can't really die unless you, release the resurrection jutsu, it was just too much. Although, speaking of releasing the resurrection jutsu, that leads to Sasuke and the resurrected Itachi versus Kabuto. See, when Itachi was first resurrected, he and the resurrected Nagato fought Naruto and Killer Bee. But, they knew, but Naruto and Itachi left on good terms with each other, and Itachi really never meant no harm. In fact, he was completely able to resist the control that Kabuto had over everyone. That's why he was able to fight Kabuto here. And so he goes to where Kabuto is in order to, release the resurrection jutsu. Meanwhile, Sasuke, who's heading for the battlefield, sees his brother, and I'm like, oh. Because, remember, Sasuke healed Itachi. So when he sees a resurrected Itachi, Sasuke looks as if he saw a ghost. So he follows him. And Sasuke wants to know, the truth. Because remember, it was originally that Itachi killed his entire clan out of cold blood and left his brother alive, just cuz. But it was then later revealed that the Uchiha clan was going to plan a coup d'etat, and Itachi was asked to do this, and he agreed to do it under the condition that he leaves Sasuke alive. So, Sasuke really wanted to know, everything. What is the truth, And to see that Kabuto actually mastered Sage Mode, just like Naruto and Jiraiya did, that actually made, because honestly, when I first saw Itachi and Sasuke together, I'm like, they're not going to lose this fight. And then Kabuto activates Sage Mode, I'm like, okay, maybe this fight could be a little more difficult to win after all. But they do win eventually. And so, honestly, one of the best moments in the entire series for me is after he makes Kabuto release the resurrection jutsu. He, Itachi is slowly disintegrating away, slowly walking over to Sasuke, and he's like, if you want to spend the rest of your life, hating me, and for everything I did, that's fine. But I want you to understand one thing. And he puts his hand behind Sasuke's head, and he's like, no matter what, I will love you always. I should give my brother a call, shouldn't I? His birthday is tomorrow. I'll do that then. Okay, so it turns out Madara himself was so powerful, he wasn't able to disintegrate like everybody else did. So he beats the 5 Kage and heads to where Naruto and Tobi are. And now I gotta talk about the big thing, because one of Tobi's abilities was he can make himself intangible. when it turns out he's using the exact same ability that Kakashi has, the Kamui, to sort of make a part of his body disappear, so, you know, he can make it come back whenever. And then it turns out what really happened. Toby's mask falls off, and it turns out that all along, he was Kakashi's long lost and dead teammate, Obito Uchiha. And from there, everything just everything ramps up to 11 in this. I mean, for one thing, they bring back Orochimaru, and Sasuke is able to talk to four of the original Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. You know, you see some backstory between Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. All the Shinobi forces are uniting against, like, Toby, or now Obito, and Madara, and now the 10 Tails has been released. I mean, the thing of it is, it's the way Mark is doing these videos, he's like rapid fire, like everything, in a good way. But he's going through this a lot faster than I thought he would. I mean, next week is going to be the final time he talks about Naruto, which I'm actually kind of in trepidation about, because there's still the point, because there's a few things that still definitely haven't happened yet that, you know, Totally Not Mark is easily going to be talking about for a while. I don't even know where to begin with this. I mean, unless maybe he meant like the last video where he talks about, I don't know what he'll do. It'll definitely be something to watch for sure. But, you know, and not to mention the coolest thing ever, since one of the former Hokage was Naruto's father, he was the fourth Hokage, Naruto got to reunite with his dad. And that was just so cool. You know, I'm going to be seeing I would say I would call my dad, but I'm going to be seeing him a little bit later anyway, so I don't really need to worry about that now, do I? So in the end, this war has legitimately reached its climax. All that's really left to do now is to take care of the 10-tailed the 10-tailed beast, Obito and Madara. And, you know, that's the end of the war. However, I can tell you for a fact it's not the end of Naruto. I'll get into this a little bit when I talk about Naruto as a whole, in terms of what I thought of it overall as a series. But when I first originally read the ending to Naruto, I wasn't the biggest fan. But I can tell you that having been almost 7 years since that happened, since the ending happened, my opinion has changed some. But you'll have to find out specifically what that is at a later date. So, yeah. Naruto's almost over. Totally Not Mark is going to finish Naruto next week. I mean, I'm glad he sort of had stuff like, the whole Spider-Man thing, and, you know, talking about the Batman movies before he actually, he made Naruto spread out a little bit, I guess. Although, he would have done a lot more if it wasn't for Toei Animation, you know, being a real meanie, for lack of a better word. But the more I'm watching Mark's videos, you know, I'm getting a lot of nostalgic vibes. Really, I am. You know, I read all this as it was being published, like, weekly. You know, there have been lots of highs and lots of lows, and reliving them all has been great. So, totally not Mark, on the very slim chance you are, watching this, thank you for reigniting my nostalgia, reigniting my love for Naruto. Because I remember I loved Naruto a lot. I was always so excited watching the anime and stuff like that, and like what was happening next. Even though a lot of that involves filler, which again, I'll talk about that more when I talk about Naruto as a whole. But honestly, I'm really glad Totally Not Mark of all people is talking about Naruto as a whole himself. Because only someone who's as good at analyzing a story as he is could really break down, like, what about all of this works. I mean, personally, I just thought it looked cool, and that's why I thought it worked. But there's more to it than that. I'll put a link into Mark's video down below so you can see for yourself. So, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe. All you gotta do is click the little red button and ring the little bell for notifications. You can get some, all of them, or, you don't need to receive any notifications, but you can be subscribed to me. That'd be cool. Follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On Tumblr too. I'm also on Tumblr. And I am very humble with this video for all of you guys who watched and enjoyed today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk, channel, we'll be here to lend you all back. Take care and make good choices. Have a nice day.